They wasted not one single part of that bird. That was
Can't waste any parts of the bird.
That was a complete successful harvest of protein. Or as Slava put it, Bavo tamales vamonos, which I think is turkey tamales. Right?
What's up, Slava?
Slava, how are you, man? We'd love to know if you know somebody or you have a hookup on tamales. We were talking about that. You know, Mario, you're native Texan, so it's normal for you. But I was just like so amazed that anytime it's the holiday season, you have these beautiful people that just show up at your office or anywhere and sell you the best tamales you've ever had in your life.
That's not the same experience I had.
No?
No. That's not my tamale experience.
That's not what you're talking
about. My tamale experience is getting to the place that has the best ones and standing in line for 3 hours.
Oh, really?
Or getting there at like 5 in the morning before they run out by 8 a.m.
So it's like a Franklin's for tamales?
Yeah, pretty much. Which JJ, he knows about this.
Oh, yeah, JJ got to fill us in. Slava says he makes them for Christmas. He's married to an authentic Mexican woman.
Well, now you're just showing off.
Yeah. Fly that flag, man. Be proud. What's up, Plucky? Yeah, that's the best. Yeah, Plucky knows, man. He knows we got to do the... Plucky's not afraid to stand in a line. That's for anything. Toys, the right food. If it's the right stuff, he will do it. But he has a hookup. He has a way of knowing how to navigate. Like every kind of McDonald's toy we've ever successfully got, or Szechuan sauce, that's due to Plucky for sure. Slava knows, Delia's tamales, yeah. Delia's. Oh, that here? That's Austin.
No, that's in San Antonio.
Oh, okay. That's
where my mom's headed tomorrow for sure.
Oh,
had to send her a text. Mom, make sure you go to Delia's before Thanksgiving.
So what do you get? Cheese ones and meat, different proteins.
I think from Delia's, I like the pork is always good.
Yeah.
They have the chicken and green chili. And they've got the chicken with cream cheese, which is interesting.
Ooh, that is good.
But they've got amazing sauces. It's good. They're like a tamale franchise. You know what that is? You got to look them up. They've got spots here in South Texas.
I need those.
Amazing sauces that they give you.
They're from the valley. That's why I wonder. That's some of the best food you ever had. I had the Puerto Rican version of that experience, the papeles, which is basically sounds like the villains on the Goonies, but it's not. It's basically the tamales, but they use more of the plantain, so it's like cooking the fruit rather than what is it, the oatmeal or the cornmeal that they use for tamales.
Oh, so, gotcha.
Now I'm getting hungry. So he says, "What's up, tubers? It's Dos Incredibles Live Turkey and Tarantino special." So we're gonna hit you with some awesome culture pops. What's up, Anthony? So he said, Konya, this is heavy, but the Mecca into it has no comparison. I don't know.
The Mecca intro.
Oh, got it. Yeah, it is. It's a lot. It's different. It's a special. It's our Turkey and Tarantino special. We have so much content we didn't even get to it. I guess because we're totally marking out for Quentin Tarantino because we're getting hit on all fronts. You know, he's got the Video Archives podcast. He's dropping 1 or 2 a week. We saw him live at Cinema Speculation. We have the news. We're going to get into that later, that he announced that he is doing a streaming series. And we're going to speculate a little bit on that.
Isn't that amazing, though?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so excited for that. That dropped right after the last show.
And I'm surprised that must have been on his other book tour, just like maybe
it was on the last date
after,
of the book
right?
tour. Yeah, we were on the second to last date of the book tour. The one after was when he announced it.
We almost got that drop. That would have been cool. But yeah, you figured his, for those of you who do not know at home, Quentin Tarantino promised 10 films and then he's done. And he made this promise like way back before he had all these options, although he knew about TV, right? He was ghost directing episodes of CSI, and sometimes they were not ghost, they straight up, but, and we're going to get a little bit into this, right? We're in phase 2 of the streaming wars.
Yeah.
You're going to get Quentin Tarantino. You're going to get people that are going to subscribe just for that series.
Well, I sent you that clip of him announcing it on the Tom Segura show.
Yeah.
And to me, that was just like, Tom Segura called it immediate. He was like, all the agents are hopping on the phone right now. Because if nobody knows about this yet, all of a sudden everybody's finding about it at the same time. Don't tell me he doesn't have great management because he's
Oh,
had the
yeah.
best career of any director, probably, right? So as soon as that gets announced, all of a sudden, an instant bidding war.
Yeah. Oh, who's not going to be want to be a part of that show?
Netflix has unlimited money, so I guess maybe not.
Yeah, they've taken a dive, but like they're a natural fit, and I think they would open up the purse strings for him. But do you go with, because who was like his main distributor now after the whole Weinstein scandals? His main distributor now is Sony, who doesn't have a streaming home, right?
Yeah. Well, they don't have a streaming home. They've got a cable home.
Yes. Oh yeah, and Hulu has a new CEO. Right, yeah, they have is their cable home Stars, which they need a streaming app too. Yes, Anthony, we are live
So if he went
here
if he went to Stars, that would certainly get a lot of subscriptions.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You would totally do that. Yeah, Anthony's like, this is live. Yeah, we live, pal.
This is live, pal.
We're live. See, if I pinch myself, do I not bleed?
If you're on delay, hit refresh.
Yeah. Do we not bleed? Yeah, definitely hit refresh. But yeah, there's a lot of networks, and let's get into that first because you were talking about it. We're in phase 2, and I think people are now establishing, we're hitting borders. You got smaller apps getting gobbled up by bigger apps, and I think people are establishing. We talked about this last week. You dropped this. I had no idea that Paramount cut a deal with Walmart to start competing with Amazon Prime plus Prime Video. It's Walmart version of Prime with Paramount Video.
Walmart and Paramount joined forces to take on Amazon.
Yeah.
Big strikes in the streaming war.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. What you were saying, we're like at phase 2 of the streaming war. Totally. It's like everybody did the rush for subscribers. Let's get as many subscribers as we can. That's what we need. We've got to catch up to Netflix.
Yes.
Warner Brothers was like, all our movies are free. Disney was like, oh, we own your childhood memories. If you want them, it's $6.99.
Oh, yeah.
And now everybody's kind of like established territory. And like I said, you said, the smaller ones are sort of like looking for where they're going to land.
Yeah, just bundle up with other ones.
And you say bundle, and bundle is exactly it, because that's all that's left now. Now everybody has established their streaming networks. Now they've got to bundle up with other things.
Yeah.
Amazon has free shipping. Now Walmart has Paramount. They're a team. Apple has your phone.
Yeah, they're always doing that. Yeah, and then like Verizon, you'll cut a deal. It's like, hey, if you get one of our phones, we're going to give you free fill in the blank. And they're always willing for the highest bidder.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I missed. So I was one of the few subscribers to DC Universe, the app that was supposed to be nothing but DC content.
Didn't it just disappear? And then what happened to it?
It's a chicklet now under HBO Max. And HBO Max will soon be a chicklet under whatever HBO Warner Brothers Discovery becomes.
They're going to be Warner Discovery HBO Max Prime.
Plus, with a plus at the end. Extreme app. So I don't know. It is, again, you got a little ahead of the curve. You just like, you know what? I like cable. I'm going back to cable because the a la carte means you're flipping across apps like you're flipping across channels, but they're not curating the content for you.
I don't want to have to think about it so much. And like, I just like that. I'm a big proponent of Sling. Sling should sponsor this.
Yeah, we need to get Sling, or we need Sling and Tubi. Tubi should be a part of us too. We've been given
Sling and Tubi and Shudder. If we could use all your sponsorship.
God, Shudder.
But anyway, I just like Sling. They've got all the channels on there, and like I said, I'm a mark for all the cable channels. I've got Stars, HBO, Showtime, Epix, all the things that have play movies constantly, and they program stuff for me. Like I said, they'll play Equalizer.
They handle it for you.
They'll make sure they play Equalizer 1, they play Equalizer 2 right after. So
why wouldn't you, if you're an app, and Shudder is one of the few that does this, why wouldn't you let some of your content stream all day, like a network, like a channel, then try to pull somebody into a movie? That's how I got pulled into Hell House LLC. It was just, it happened to be streaming, and I clicked on, I was like, I'm going to see what's on there. And I watched 2 minutes, and I got pulled in. You know what I get pulled into a lot? Food shows. You know, Anthony's talking about his family's Boricua. Got to get Puerto Rican pasteles. See, we got to do that. So, yeah, and same. Cabo Rojo represent in the house. And I grew up eating so many of those. So coming
A
here.
lot of folks don't know Jeff is Puerto Rican.
Yeah, that half Lican Puerto Rican. That used to be the Rico Suave gimmick. Whenever I'd wrestle in 3 spots, I'd call it the Lican Puerto Rican tour. So, fun fact, JJ may have witnessed the Lican Puerto Rican tour in the Valley. But anyway, I get pulled into the food shows a lot. Like food.
Well, Discovery knows
Travel?
you're into that.
Yeah, no,
They know you're into travel too.
So it's going to be really interesting when because I got both apps, and it definitely feels like a different mix. Like you got your food, travel. I watch just like I bought this little island and I'm gonna renovate it. I get pulled in, and then I'm a big huge Mark. That's why I got the glasses and the hat. Zach Bagans. The Travel Channel pretty much is now haunted shows. That's all it is. It's just haunted ghost shows. If you were like an alien, you come to this planet, it's like, let me view the Travel Channel, and then I'll know where to go. You're going to go away and like, this whole freaking place is haunted. There's not one single place that's not haunted. They don't visit anywhere that's not haunted. So.
Those are two very different forms of content, right? It's like, can you imagine Discovery now owns Warner Brothers, and Zaslav probably walked in the first day and he's like, so you make films about Batman? We usually make foods. Our stuff is like people go somewhere and eat food. Or what else is on? They've got like all kinds of reality shows.
Yeah, well, the couple out of Waco that got really popular. I forgot what it's called. The girl, they got the silos there. They got their own little chick. They said they were going to get their own network, but no one gets their own network anymore because it doesn't work. Oprah didn't work for. We loved El Rey, but that should have been a chicklet under somebody's app, right? So when they're curating that, so that crew from Waco has their own chicklet under there that has like the building shows, their restaurant shows, all the food that they got in there.
Is it Joanna Gaines?
Oh, Ashley. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, she just let us know it's the Magnolia Network. So, and do you know they're also a real estate company, which
Who
makes
is?
sense. The Gaines couple, Joanna
I have no
Gaines.
idea.
Yeah.
So what channel is this on?
So this is a chicklet under the Discovery app, Discovery Plus. They had their own show on HGTV. They got so big, they're like, we're going to give you your own network. But by then, the streaming wars was already in phase 1. Now that we're in phase 2, they got their own chicklet of content underneath Discovery Plus. And it's delightful Sunday morning television.
Sazlov's like, so Aquaman lives underwater? We do real estate shows, but never underwater. I'm not sure.
Oh, Ashley said, yeah, they went there on the way home from Spice World this year, which totally makes sense. It's right there on that 35 border. So, of course, you're going to see the silos there on the road, and you're going to stop and go there. It was packed when I went, for sure packed. But props to them for putting Waco on the map again, because the Dr. Pepper Museum was like, dude, I don't know how much longer we can do this. How much longer can we do this?
No one cares.
We're just like, yeah, we showed them David Naughton. It's a picture of him. He drinks Dr. Pepper, don't you know? It's part of the original show. How long are we going to play this commercial?
People don't like soda.
Yeah. So
now it's like they do like, how did they take the flavor out of fizzy water?
I don't know.
That's what they're interested in.
Yeah, you know what this is? This is low battery mango. It's like it's almost mango.
It just a mango was there at some point.
Yeah, eventually, so it got there. But yeah, so the game Topo Chico. Yeah, we need to get them to sponsor.
No, but like going back to the streaming wars, it's interesting because I feel like we're at a point where everybody did as much growth as they could or try and get subscribers. Now everybody's they've taken their positions. Now everybody's just gonna hold tight, raise the price.
Yeah.
Figure out how to raise the price. Apple says
It's annoying. They are raising the prices, man.
Instead of having Apple TV?
Yeah, it's
about-
Apple One.
Instead of Apple TV for $6.99 or $4.99, how about $16.99 and you get all this other stuff?
Yeah, that you may or may not want.
By the way, we're raising the price of Apple TV.
That's the way they do it.
$2. So you're probably an idiot if you don't sign. You're losing money.
Yeah.
Anyway. Also, we'll destroy your phone.
I noticed, yeah, you'll get one of those red notification triggers that you'll get that in there. I know the Gmail, the Google YouTube Premium. I don't want to speak ill of our platform here, but they just straight up, we're not offering you more, but we got a deal for you. You're just going to pay more for what you already get.
We will conveniently take more money out of your account.
But how do you say no to that?
You don't have to do a thing.
Because when you go back to YouTube,
Hey, no way, I don't want to do it. Here's a bunch of commercials.
Yeah, how does that work? Well, how come we don't get YouTube? Like, if we hit a certain threshold, do we get free YouTube Premium?
No.
No.
I worked at a search engine company for a while. And we did not get free YouTube.
Oh, man. All right. I don't know. I know we ping-ponged all over the board there, but you want to jump into Iggy into that first spot? I mean, we do have, he's our wrestling expert. He's our Star Wars expert. And today he's going to be our Marvel expert. And we're going to talk about what's next for Black Panther. Because
is he on the phone?
Not yet.
Oh,
not yet. No, I just letting him know that that's coming up on the agenda. But we want to keep talking about QT because, don't forget to like, subscribe on this widget right here when you get a chance. But jump into our short section. We have part 2 dropping of Transformers Meet Pulp Fiction. You kind of pulled that out last week. So when we're speculating on what's going to be coming for Quentin Tarantino's show, we have another surprise for you there. So definitely stick around for that surprise. But is there anything else that you remember from the cinema speculation tour that really stood out to you?
What?
The cinema speculation tour. Like, is there anything that really stuck out to you other than you just told me the local celebrity there that was interviewing him, he had a stroke, and that's why the interview was self-induced interview. But then now the day later we see on the same book tour he said something completely different, and they got a big drop on their tour that we did not get. And I was like, was there anything that we forgot? I don't know, because our phones were locked up, our watches were locked up, everything was locked up. He's like, you're not going to cancel me.
It didn't happen.
No, and you can't get those things open. So I don't know, Slava, Ashley, you're everyone. I think pretty much here is in IT. Clucky's in there. Like,
I don't know if you noticed,
get those open.
We didn't get any Tarantino drops, but we got the Kevin Smith drop.
Yeah, we did.
That happened on our stop.
Yeah, we got the Red State Tour. So I was bummed that we didn't get, I think he would have got a huge pop if he announced, oh, yeah, I'm going to be doing a streaming show next year. But I'm still into that book, dude, and I don't know how far along you're in.
I haven't started yet.
Man, it's good. You're in for a treat. And I'm sorry, I guess he has heat with people that use Audible and not read it. But I was just like, you're having somebody read the book to you. It's like, when I'm driving in the car, I get to catch up on the book. I still may go back and physically read it too, but it gives me the ability to. I can't consume content unless I'm walking around. It's hard to sit. It's the weekends. It's a special thing when I get to sit and consume something on the big TV. But I would never be able to keep up if I wasn't walking around with my iPad and my Bose, doing stuff and still watching the video. And for books, it's even easier because you can be vacuuming and you're just totally engrossed in that book. But if you guys have not gotten that book yet, and if you're into any kind of film history, highly suggest Cinema Speculation. That's actually, I do Audible first, and if you like it, then you buy the book. I feel like that's the way to go. I feel like that's a slam dunk. But Slava, you're a fan. We know you're a fan of Trading Places. We're going to have you come here live in studio and talk about it, during the right holiday season. But he really gets into why he thinks the 80s and the current generation are the two worst generations of film in his lifetime.
He hates it. He hates the current.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff in the 80s that worked. But it's completely different. It's another shirt that we have dropping because the 70s, man, it felt a lot more real, a lot more grounded, a lot more gritty, where the 80s, there's a lot more hope. And he's not necessarily into hope. He wants realism. He wants you to feel. He wants, these people are emoting, and he wants you to emote on them to emote on you.
You, them, everybody.
So I don't know. I think again, it's really worth getting into.
I added a new button to the Incredibletron, by the way.
Oh yeah, let's see it.
Well, no, I just need to describe its usage.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's only for today.
Okay.
It only works today, but it's there for you to use if it ever comes up.
Okay.
If you ever get to a point where there's like, we need to transition to something, we have a transition where we can just go to the turkey transition, which was a favorite thing So just let me know if you ever want me to hit the edge button.
So we'll just do the call the turkey transition when we Iggy out.
Yeah. I guess that's the Iggy for the Thanksgiving show.
Yeah, let's do that. So let's start this. Let's jump in to let's start speculating, and then we'll get Wayne on the phone. But let's you and I do a little bit of speculating first before we call him in. We're going to see how many ideas we can come up with for Quentin Tarantino on what this show should be. Now, make no mistake, he would never take our ideas in a million years. He does homages to stuff that he loves, but this is we're going to just fantasy book, fan fiction of what, and I do warn you though, we might be right with one of these.
I doubt it, but let's give it a shot anyway.
You want to give it a whirl?
I don't know. I feel like Quentin's smarter than us, Jeff. He probably is gonna, but we could maybe throw some ideas out there.
Yeah, and and he just might be like, yeah, you're onto something. So
maybe we could make the special features.
Yeah, let's see if we can do it. So we'll start with Clucky because he already has two, and I want to. So you see one of them.
Clucky has the pitches.
Yeah, so he wants to make a pre-Pulp Fiction. So he wants 3. So he'll want, I guess this was 6 episodes that he's going to do, right? 8 episodes. Could you do 8 episodes of Vincent Vega, Marcellus Wallace, Mia Wallace, right? You can probably do 8 episodes of what got them to that point, right? The Vega brothers was always what was promised. And actually that was going to be one of my guesses of what it was going to be. It was going to be the long promised Vega brothers, and I don't think you're going to be able to use Travolta and Michael Madsen unless they're doing like Indiana Jones style, and they're going to be flashing back to a younger version of them. But they did something similar with From Dusk Till Dawn series, where they actually flash back to younger versions, right, of the show.
I didn't see that one. So you think he would do one of his established properties as a show?
I think yeah. I think so for sure. I think I don't think it's gonna be something completely new. It's going to be something new that's born out of something he already has established.
But you think it would be like an established character he would use actual established characters?
That's one of my guesses. Yeah, I got a couple of different ones, but that's one of them.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, I guess that's the closest one that I have that's going to be established.
Clucky says his second guess is Death Proof as well 2 series? Death Proof as well as a series.
Death Proof as a series, yeah. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, reiterate Death Proof as a series. Look, we talked about this on our Grindhouse spot last week. It's a great underestimated movie that unfortunately he has to list as his worst movie, and it's not even close.
To. I mean, that's what he picks out of his
and it's not.
Filmography. Yeah,
and it's not. So I would love to see some more Stuntman Mike. I'd have no problem. So those are good guesses for sure.
Yeah.
What's one? I got a couple more, but you throw one out there. Which one would you like to see?
Well, my guess is I don't think he's gonna do. For one, I feel like he's too close to his films to have one carry over to his show. I don't think that's a Quentin Tarantino thing. I think he was a pretty separate. So I would say that he's going to do some sort of episodic, not in the Netflix style that is happening today, where it's an 8-hour movie. It's going to be 8 episodes of a show, each one with its own, storyline and ending. More like an episodic of the old time where it was just like a 1-hour adventure a week.
8 movies, so eight short movies.
8 short movies.
Okay, and that's very possible, right? Because I mean, they tied it all together in Pulp Fiction, but those could have all been standalone with just mixed up, mixing characters.
I'm just saying, but like in the style of what we think a show is. I think he'll go out of his way to make sure that his show is a show and not an 8-hour movie.
Yeah. That totally makes sense, and he's done that, right? What's the name of the show that he's a fan of, and it's not the CSI. It's got Timothy Oliphant.
Justified.
Yeah,
Justified's great.
Yeah, he's a huge fan of Justified.
Yeah.
So I could see him doing that. I could see that. and then he still.
Did you watch Justified?
No,
I watched like the
didn't.
first few seasons. It's good. It was great.
I've always heard great things, and Timothy Oliphant is a screen gobbler, man. Speaking of the Thanksgiving special, he's a screen gobbler. You see him, you want to see more. He's good. All right, I got a swing. This one's going to be a big swing because this one's going to require a big booking. What if he makes Bounty Law? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He literally goes back and makes that 60s Western that we watched, or 50s Western that we watched him make in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I think that's a distinct possibility.
Yeah.
Didn't he already write 4 episodes before the movie was even over?
Just that, yeah. But would he book, you'd have to book Leo, right?
You would have to book Leo.
Yeah.
But has a relationship with Netflix and Tarantino, so I bet if Tarantino said, "You want to do the Bounty Law show?"
He's in.
They have money. They got money.
Now here's and I think I'd love to see it, and I'd watch it. But do you think they'd run into the same problem that the first 3 episodes of Wanda did? Because we didn't get the benefit of WandaVision. They filmed like this is the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But we didn't get any of the camera winks, and even the Easter eggs were there. Is that going to work if we don't get to see Cliff Booth, and Rick Dalton, BTS? We're literally going to see what's his name when he played in Bounty Law.
I mean, that's a solid point. Would the audiences buy it? Would they be like, when you cut into the other guys, when you cut into reality,
right?
You know what I mean? They do something like that. So they might not get behind that one, but I could see it being a distinct possibility that was the show,
doing it.
And he might have another angle on how to approach it.
Okay, yeah, that's all my only question. But I'm going to save the one that I want to see the most. But I'm going to let you pick. I'm going to let you go with one first.
I would see him doing some sort of, like I said, I feel like it would be more like an episodic with an adventure a week, and I think that it would be some sort of detective, some sort of show about like a guy who solves crimes somehow, with some sort of spin. Like they had the 60s, there was a lot of detective shows, but they weren't necessarily always detectives. Maybe it'll be something closer to like FBI, where FBI people are solving crimes. But I think it's going to be that. It's going to be a mystery a week.
And you said, I mean, and I think we've heard him talk about that, and he talks about it a little bit. He's a big fan of a lot of Hong Kong cinema, right? That had a lot that were based in those police trying to solve crimes. What was the movie? You told me it, and I already forgot the name of it last week. And we are just talking about that. It's the Korean film that's out now.
Yeah.
What is the name of that movie?
Decision to Leave?
Decision to Leave.
Yeah.
That looks like something that he would love. And that looks like something
I definitely want to see that. I love Park Chan-wook.
Yeah.
But I really think that he's going to very much lean into not doing a movie, and then he's going to do, like, he won't take any inspiration from any movies. He will make it a point to say, I'm not even though he's the known borrower, he's not going to borrow from movies. He's going to borrow from TV shows.
And that makes sense. He probably has a plethora of those stored away in his head just as much as he does.
I mean, I don't know what is Mannix about. I don't know. That's what Cliff is watching. It's going to be like Mannix.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's just going to be good. Because the whole thing about it is he creates these characters because of these small little tweaks that he adds to their performance. I was actually watching that, and I used it today. Shout out to Sean Dahlberg. I used it today because it was just like, what am I going to be doing if Sean's not around there? And I automatically went to Confused Travolta. And do you think John Travolta was improv when he's like, I need you to look confused? Or I can actually see Tarantino, who doesn't do line readings for his performers, but he knows exactly what he wants. I can see him doing it because it was such a distinct, like, what do I do here? So I think it's those small little things that he does that he gets out of their actors, and either they get it or they don't get it. But most of the people that work with him, clearly they get it, because out of all directors, he has to have the most return players, like multiple players. It's not just one player.
Well, I mean, I think most good directors get return players.
Yeah.
Or one successful directors.
Yeah.
Good directors is debatable, right?
But he
But like,
confused Travolta, man.
yeah, no, it's a good meme, solid meme.
It is. All right, I got one, and this is I got to put on my I'm marking out hat. I'm definitely going to mark out. Should we put some? I wish we had a. I'm about to mark out Sting because I'm about to mark out because this is the one that I really, really want. Because we know he can only do 10 films, and everybody's like trying to shoot. That's like trying to figure out who's the fourth head on Mount Rushmore, and this is the one everybody wants. It's already written. He wrote it in there. It's got to be Kill Bill Volume 3.
As his final movie?
No,
Or his final show.
I think you only need. You can basically you have her as a little girl. She's gonna be growing up and going for revenge on the bride.
Yeah.
You can do that in 8 episodes, and you can actually do it very much like House of the Dragon did. So you can start off right after that, when she's little, and you show her upbringing, similar to how he did. We got the origin story of Oren Ishii in Kill Bill, but he just did it in the version of anime. You can show her growing up and everything she gets to, so you really don't have to book Uma Thurman till the end, and you really don't even have to. You're not going to have to de-age her at all. This will be just like current times. You knew I was coming to get you. If anything, you would actually add more age to her, and that's how you get around that. But I feel like you're right. Like he's making it a point that this is going to be a TV series. And I think people are going to be like, oh, no, that's Kill Bill Volume 3 is going to be a movie. Are we ever going to get that?
Well, I mean, it's a possibility that could be his final movie. He hasn't written it out. And I think his last movie is going to be... I think his last movie is going to be something he hasn't done before, which... I mean, obviously, if he does Kill Bill 3, that's like a trilogy. So now he has a trilogy.
Yeah. He's never.
If he does, he could do like a remake of one of his own movies with new actors. Like I thought it would be cool to do Reservoir Dogs, but it's just about the bank robbery.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Because we never see the bank robbery, or something like that, or Reservoir Dogs with different actors, or some commercial property that he remakes.
Well, we have that dropping tomorrow. If you didn't catch the show last week, don't forget to hit those reminders. We are going to be dropping Mario's fantastic idea of Quentin Tarantino doing First Blood, Rambo First Blood.
I mean, that's not my idea. He said it himself.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, you haven't seen his interview of what he would like to. Yeah, no, that's his idea.
Wow, I didn't know that was on the list.
Yeah, and he's the one that cast Adam Driver. I mean, he said he would do it with Adam. Like, he would be awesome to do First Blood with Adam Driver.
Yeah, no, it was a really good piece of content. I'm glad we didn't do it. I'm glad we got to do that. Anthony said, I remember he was 13. He went to see Late Mom. Sorry about that. Kill Bill was her favorite. Yeah, Kill Bill was good. Were you part of the camp that a lot of people were like, I liked part 1 less than I liked part 2? Like they picked favorites on volume 1 and volume 2, where I kind of went in realizing that I kind of knew the backstory, and I'm like, I'm watching the same movie. It's just one long movie.
Well, I don't know what internet year that was, but like the script, the full script had leaked online already, and I read the full script. It was like the best script I ever read.
Wow.
So I knew going off from the whole time that it was a movie cut in half,
Yeah.
And I would argue, yes, the second one is better than the first one because it's where it's the second half of the movie.
Story. Yeah.
It's where everything is resolved, right?
Got it. That makes sense.
But like, yeah, I mean, it's 2 halves of a movie. They didn't want to do a 4-hour movie.
And I'm still waiting for that Blu-ray where they just have that, because it's just one bridge scene that they really need, right? And then it's connected.
I mean, no, it's connected. Like Tarantino has a print of the whole movie.
Man,
he plays it at New Beverly sometimes.
Yeah, that's on our list of our movie tour across there. I would love to see it, man. I was a huge, I get a craving every time I see that for some kind of like Mongolian barbecue. Like, did you ever hear the story of like where they're filming, and it was like some of the late night scenes, and he's like pretty open. It was like, yeah, we just get around. We had a big bonfire. We're literally just kicking different types of, proteins on the fire and smoking weed, in a different country. It's like, it was very surreal. So every time I see that, I was like, man, I need to get some barbecue or something. Like that story sticks in my head.
Yeah.
All right, you got another one?
I mean, not specifically as far as what it would be. Well, I think I could see it being. Again, I think it's going to be some. It's going to be some sort of takeoff on some sort of episodic. You know.
Yeah.
I could see it being a war show, something about combat.
Yeah.
I could like. I still think it's going to be a detective show, but I'm saying I'm trying to think of what is there very many. I can't think of any old crime shows. Crime show is a genre that.
I almost said Police Squad. Is Police Squad a crime show?
It is a crime show, technically. Yeah.
I was thinking like you're thinking something along the lines of like Columbo.
Yeah.
Type thing. Man, I'm no Christopher Columbo.
Or like SWAT.
SWAT. Yeah, that was because right, that's when he made the show FBI, right? The famous meme, right? Because he saw himself on TV.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. I liked your idea. You know, again, you slam dunked it last week of this. Like, I want to see Transformers with Pulp Fiction. And now I was like, man, that was so fun. And you're like, oh, I got another one. Inglorious Basterds with G.I. Joe. And like, boom, you nailed it. There's like so many, like you can go through some of those quotes and you'd be like, oh yeah, I can see some of these characters like saying these lines.
Yeah.
Right? You just like Teddy Williams, Donnie knocked it out of the park. And you're gonna,
Who would be saying that line? Duke?
Yeah, it's got to be Duke, right? Or didn't they have like ironically, they did have a G.I. Joe character that climbed through the sewers, right? And I think that, and ironically...
Wait, they had a sewer Joe? Sewer G.I. Joe?
Yeah, they had one that he hung out in the sewers.
What was his name?
I can't remember his name. I don't know if Clucky's still on. But yeah, there's the G.I. Joe, a guy that hung out in the sewers. And I feel like when Donnie came out of there, he came out of the sewer with the bat. Because, right, that was one of the big quotes of the movies. It's the closest thing that we get to...
going to the movies.
Going to the movies, right? Mm-hmm. But I think you can get anybody and be like... Gorlami. ¿Cómo te queda? Gorlami. Come on. Gorlami.
Hell yeah, that's like Cobra Commander.
Okay, exactly. We just have Cobra Commander saying that.
I think, wait, is Duke the blonde guy?
Duke is the blonde guy, yeah.
Duke is the blonde guy.
Yeah.
Flint is the one with the beret.
Flint, yep.
Yeah. I feel like Flint would probably be like doing the Hans Landa lines. Well, no, it'd have to be a bad guy. Maybe Destro?
Destro, yeah, it's got to be Destro. What is like some of it, like the Au revoir, Shoshana?
Yeah.
Au revoir, Shoshana! And then you have the G.I. Joes running in a different direction.
Like, ooh, that's a bingo.
What I did not know was going through some of those quotes that the Italian directors that he was using, he used the real last name of a few of them, right? Like, Margarete. It's like, oh, Margarete. Sorry, I lost my voice. It was a angry NFL day yesterday. So
Antonio Margarete directed
Antonio
something.
Margarete.
Something that they were talking about on Video Archives podcast.
He did, right? And then you start... There's so many names that he drops that is in there. And then you're like, oh, that's where he got it. Like there's somebody who worked at I think it was the old owner of Video Archives, and his name is Lance. And every time he says it, I'd say, I'm not going to say the F word because you can't, but it's like, F you, Lance, answer.
Same.
Anytime you hear Lance, that's the exact quote that goes through my head. So let's hear from you in chat. Like, what old 80s animation would you want to mix with Quentin Tarantino dialogue? Because we got part 2 dropping tomorrow, but it worked really well. So we could, if you want to do a turkey transition into some retro, and then we'll get Wayne on the horn here.
It's just you want to take a break, is what you're saying?
Yeah, just a quickie so we can get him on the phones.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Yeah, so stick around. We'll be in a minute or so.
Here's the vegetables. Oh, that's it. That is it. Here's...
Turkey, trimmings, televisions. Everything you need for Thanksgiving. Meijer. Higher standards, lower prices.
I spent most of my life turkey farming up here in Norfolk. I'm Bernard Matthews, and this little booty is the Matthews 1 1/4 pound turkey roast. Looks like a roast, cooks like one in just 75 minutes. It's a family-sized roast made from prime Norfolk turkey with a little pork fat and salt. And it's beautifully tender. Beautiful, really beautiful. Go on, give the family a treat. Give them a slice of Norfolk. The Matthews Turkey Roast.
A little potatoes, a little gravy.
The peas are the best. They're so crispy.
The turkey is always very moist.
I'm talking only about Swanson. The Swanson turkey dinner.
Turkey. It's really flaky and tender the way turkey is supposed to be.
Oh, delicious.
Reminds me of Thanksgiving.
The quality is there. I love that Swanson combination.
20,000%.
I always come back to Swanson.
It's safer than having me cook.
When you're not home cooking turkey dinner, Swanson is.
Gobble, gobble.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm Bernard Matthews. All right, then. You tell them.
Well, I make them, and I love them.
All right, boy.
Moist.
Tasty.
Delicious. Meat, not mince. The whole family loves them.
My husband gets his share.
What are they? My new crispy crumb turkey steaks. Slices of juicy, tender turkey breast, trimmed with a little pork fat, and covered with light, crispy breadcrumbs. They're beautiful. New crispy crumb turkey steaks. At around 99 pence for 4, the price is beautiful too.
Remember, Harry, it's Marion's first holiday turkey, not a word if it's dry.
It's her first turkey.
It won't be juicy.
What they don't know is Marion's first turkey is America's first turkey, Butterball. It's always juicy because it's specially deep basted, so every slice is moist and tender.
Juicy turkey, Marion.
I knew it would be.
After all, it's Butterball, also available fresh. We're Beatrice.
If I hit you, y'all go, oh, we lost him.
We'll put it over.
Yeah.
All right. We got a lot of commercials that are
Joe, to
making
your
us,
turkey steaks?
Yeah, we're making us hungry. Those turkey steaks, which were oddly enough served in a bowl. Mm-hmm. What kind of steak comes
Where do
in a
you
bowl?
eat your steak?
Not in a cereal bowl, apparently, but I am willing to try. All right, we got the man formerly known as Ronnie Blaze, Wayne, on the phone. Wayne, what's up, man?
What's up, my brother?
Yeah, we had the classic. That was, if you look into the archives of an old high school wrestling match in '91, you saw Lex Gretler versus Ronnie Blaze.
Now that's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut. Speaking of turkey steaks, that's a deep cut. So, so Wayne, we usually bring you on when we talk about lucha or we want to talk about Star Wars because we know you're the human Wikipedia, but you're also a big into comics like the rest of us. So we're all caught up. And usually, Mario, just so you know, these conversations with Wayne that are reserved for Marvel stuff, I got to give him the buffer because you know how I'm like there at the absolute first showing.
Yeah.
Wayne will wait till the theater cleared out so he can be in the middle and like take it all in with no distractions.
Yeah.
So we have to meet in the middle before we do this. So this was a rare treat that Wayne's like, you're not going to believe this. I'm seeing it this weekend and we're going to be able to talk about it way sooner.
I think that's the first time ever I've been there on opening weekend.
Ever, man. And it's just like...
What drew you into this one, Wayne?
One of my friends down here, actually lead singer in my band I played in college, called me up and said, hey, man, are you doing anything Friday? Let's go see Black Panther. And I thought, well, I guess I'll try it this time. And he said, don't worry, man. The theater we're going to, it's got like a 2-person pod, so there's walls around us. No one will be able to distract you. So he knows he has the same problem.
Oh, okay. So that's good. So he got you again. We're seeing a lot more theaters, those little pods there, though. That works. So you were secluded, so you were able to take it in. So, and we got to, before we get into this, Wayne, we got to do an RIP that I didn't even get a chance to talk. Speaking of the movies, when Wayne and I ironically wrestled in Austin, well before we lived in Austin, we snuck out after one of the matches, or it was a night off we had, and we went and saw Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movies, and we recently lost what we know as the Green Ranger, the White Ranger, Jason David Frank, RIP. Thanks for the memories. Because weirdly enough, Wayne, didn't we talk about that one of our gimmicks? Like if we ever wanted us to be an extra or enhancement talent, we were going to wrestle as one of the putties from Power Rangers. Like that way they don't see our face and we'll just go to the ring.
Yeah. We were actually hoping that was like a goal of ours to actually be on there and be one of them.
We wanted to get booked as a putty because we're like, we know we can take these bumps. Like we were making Power Rangers look like $1 million. So yeah,
all right, brother.
R.I.P.
Funny enough, Mario, on that when we went to go see that night. So we're in a town where you got to dress the part, right? You can't show up in flip-flops and stuff. The promoter wanted us to look the part. So Jeff walks in wearing shorts and a T-shirt, a black leather trench coat, and green shooter shoes.
What are shooter shoes?
That's the shoes that amateur wrestlers wear. These are like neon green. I mean, they glow in the dark, damn near, right? So we go in there. And we're excited. We sit down. We are the only ones in the theater. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night on a weeknight, man. So it's like we got this made, So we're sitting there, and 5 minutes before the movie starts, this guy walks in with 2 little bitty kids, and he has the whole theater to choose from, but he puts them down in the row, in the seats directly behind me and Jeff, and he says, I'll be in the theater next door. I'm sure these nice men will look out for you.
What?
I forgot about that.
And I'm sitting there looking at Jeff like, yeah, that's who I would put my kids near, the guy in the trench coat in the middle of blazing summer in Texas. Yeah.
In a kid's movie.
He didn't want his kids, obviously. If you leave them next to just the trench coat is enough reason. You don't leave your kids next to a person with a trench coat on.
Exactly.
If there's another telltale sign, right?
Yes.
And watching what was the equivalent of a kid's movie at 11
in a trench coat. Why would you do that to your kid?
Yeah, I don't think he. I think he missed that day of training, of parental training.
I mean, like my mom used to drop me off at the Dollar Theater with like $10 or $5 or whatever, just to like watch 4 movies in a row.
Yep.
But like not next to a trench coat guy. So sit with this guy.
Oh, those are nice shoes. Yeah,
while you watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh my gosh, yeah, those are good memories. Yeah, I put that trench coat over. But anyway, so R.I.P. White Ranger, Green Ranger. Thanks for the memories. But we wanted to talk about Marvel, right? Because you're a big. Just so you know, Mario, for context, Wayne is more into Marvel than he's into DC. For a lot of the reasons that people gravitate to Marvel is he likes the more realistic, grounded stories versus the gods among men. Is that correct, Wayne?
Yes.
So anytime I have any kind of stuff that we have to talk about when it comes to Marvel, we got to get Wayne on the horn to do this. And I'm curious. So, Black Panther was the original one, is the number 4 movie of all time. So it was going to be tough for this one to meet that type of expectations. But I didn't even get a chance to talk to Wayne about what he thought, if he liked it better than the first one, second one. So Wayne, I'm going to give the floor to you, like your first thoughts on Black Panther.
I liked it. It was heavy, but it kind of had to be. With Chadwick Boseman dying, it kind of had to be. And so it felt a lot darker. It didn't. And it felt more grounded in Africa instead of the shining towers of futuristic technology. They kind of got down to the ground level, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought it was a curious choice, Namor being South American. That was really interesting to me. And I noticed they stayed away from the whole Atlantis thing. But overall, I thought it was a win. It did what it had to do, and I enjoyed it. So
yeah,
and I don't always say that about these movies anymore. So.
No, it's not a lock like it used to be. I think we're well past that, and you're right. Originally, they had The Rock booked to be Namor years ago. He was in the running to be Namor, and I think that was really before he moved to that next level. But I think either way, that'd
have been a solid choice, Rock.
Yeah.
Black Adam, not so much.
But I think then they would have gone more probably into like the Pacific Islands, and they would have went that angle instead of. I think they were sticking away from Atlantis anyway because Aquaman got the lead out on them, and even though Namor is one of the oldest heroes in any comics, he's definitely older than Aquaman. The perception is reality, so I think they try to get away from that.
I didn't mind. I didn't mind the changes on that. I thought it was he was the anti-hero. You know, he served his people more than he served anything.
Yeah.
And I thought they made some interesting choices. You know, and they put the new Black Panther over. You know, at the end.
Yeah.
Establishing her over a heavyweight like Namor. It's not the best start to Namor, but there was a plausible explanation for it. And then in the end, you know, there was some political reasons behind Namor standing down. So I thought it was well done. I thought it was, you know, pretty well thought out. I mean, every movie has problems that if you sit there and stare at it long enough, you can pick it apart. But, you know, for the most part, you know, I thought it was pretty good.
I think you're right.
I didn't think the new my Marvel goes back quite a few years. What's the name of the new Iron Man? Is that Ironheart?
Ironheart, yeah. Riri Williams.
Ironheart. I didn't think she was particularly likable.
She was a little snippy, right? When they were trying to help her, and she was very snippy to them, telling them to get out.
Yeah.
Even though she lives in a fantastical world, and
I think that is a valid point. But I think that the movie didn't give us a reason to like her. Like, it didn't set her up as a likable character. She was introduced in a way where we didn't get a chance to like her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And like, if like, you know, you've got to do those things when you introduce a character. You can't just drop us in the middle of their life and expect that we understand why we should like this person, right? And like, what's her story? She's a genius. A lot of geniuses in the MCU, apparently, you know, all the time.
She's selling homework.
She's doing all the stuff. She's doing basically an 80s teen comedy, but she's from current Chicago, right? She's selling homework, getting the rich dudes to pay her to do the homework, and like, she's cool and she stands up to them, whatever. But that's, you know, we still don't know why we should like her. You know, she doesn't establish a likability immediately, and then she's immediately in trouble, and we're supposed to like sympathize with that.
Yeah.
So that I think that comes from the fact that she doesn't need to be in the movie at all. Like, that character, you could just replace that with a stock character to have a few lines, and
that's a good point. You think they just took the time to shoehorn this in?
They had to put Riri Williams over
because the series is coming out next year.
Yeah.
But you're right. It could have been any character that they.
It could have been some throwaway lines.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's a good point.
Isn't Ironheart supposed to get its own series? They had to introduce somewhere.
So that's what's going on
next year.
This is the introduction for. They're trying to get Ironheart introduced in the Black Panther movie because they're going to do a series. I don't think it succeeded, so the show still is going to have to prove itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, she like I know I saw some people posting they really liked her or whatever, but like the main thing is she didn't have anything to do. She didn't need to be there.
No, and we didn't really get her origin story necessarily.
Now, this is you know, like I said, my comics are, you know, back pretty far. This is a storyline I'm not real familiar with, but was Ironheart involved in the Doom Wars? Because I'm wondering, like, if Black Panther 3 is coming at the Doom Wars, and that's where Victor Von Doom realized the advantage of vibranium, and Dr. Doom, you know, he's not only is he a scientist, but he's also a sorcerer, and there's supposed to be magical properties to vibranium. So I'm wondering if they're setting up for that, and it seems like Ironheart was involved in somehow with Dr. Doom around that time.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And there was a Reddit post that was out not too long ago and they were talking about some of the stuff that had to get cut out due to like pandemic, and they didn't want to shoehorn stuff, and they didn't want to rush. And Von Doom was one of the characters they were also going to introduce in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and they pulled it at the last second. So and yeah,
that might be where they're headed.
And they're tying, because they got Armor Wars coming out. They have, Ironheart that's in there. So I think, and I get it. Like, did they like, to me, it was a big enough deal that they introduced Namor. We've been waiting for Namor for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah.
He needed to have his own. He did not need. That would have been the equivalent of squeezing in Venom and Sandman in the same film, just because you're not sure if you can make a fourth, and those two were big enough that they needed their own. To have Doom in there, and you only kind of introduced Fantastic Four, right? We only got the variant that may or may not even be played by the same actor. I think once you do that, that's pulling back a little too much. You could have maybe did a hint, but I'm glad they didn't introduce him. I think he needs a way bigger intro.
Well, they did hint. Remember at the end, Namor was talking about other nations are going to be coming after Wakanda, and they'll need an ally.
Yeah, I think
they've already done the French and the Americans and stuff like that. And remember, Dr. Doom is the head of Latveria, so
yeah, his own country, right?
He has his own country, so I mean that line might have introduced that storyline, or at least laid the groundwork.
Dude, you're right, because I mean, if you go all the way back to Avengers Endgame, when they're like, "What about that tremor under the sea?" That was the intro to Namor, and we didn't even know it yet. A lot of people speculated it, but and it wasn't a coincidence. That was Okoye that she's like, we handle it by not handling it. So it wouldn't surprise me if you did that. But going back to what you said about basically Namor doing the job to the new Black Panther, and we'll get into that one for a minute. I like that, and again, we're putting on our pro wrestling booking hats here. I like that they protected how strong he really was by, he definitely was hurting. But I think he realized it was more advantageous for him to do the job than it was to not. Like, he could have kept fighting and he might have been able to beat her. But I like that they protected his, because he's supposed to be as strong as Hulk, right? He's supposed to be one of the biggest ones, and she's kind of new to this whole thing.
As long as you hear water.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't dry out. You can't,
What happens if there's a disaster in the desert that he has to go help out with?
Yeah, it's the same thing as Aquaman.
What if Kang's in the desert? Can he help then?
He stays back and he makes
kind of like
sandwiches.
Aquaman, where he's like, "Come out here in the water."
Come on, just come a little closer, just a little closer.
Maybe Starks can make him a water suit, or Wakanda can make him a water
suit. I wonder.
A hydration suit can't be that hard, Wakanda.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man!
I wonder if they're going to at any point acknowledge the invaders, because Namor, at least in the comics, has connection to Captain America and the original Human Torch.
No, that's a good
question. That dates back to World War II. But have they already killed that with the original Captain America? The very first one, what was it, the first Avenger or something?
Oh, yeah, they already kind of showed it.
They've acknowledged him being in World War II, and they didn't introduce that, so...
Yeah, I mean, they always can fall back on the variant thing, but I do get it. And honestly, if they're going to get Chris Evans or anyone to come back for any Captain America, we have to... It's returning the Infinity Stones 6-episode series, or we riot. That's all. And the finale, the series finale, is going to be returning the Soul Stone to Red Skull, because that's the one everyone wants to see. We want to see all of them. We want to see return all of them. There's going to be an adventure for each one, but that's the one everybody's waiting for. So that's the finale. So when they got Hugh Jackman to come back, they're going to get Chris Evans to come back. Like, just do this 6-episode series, and we just nail it. And then Disney start printing more money, like you're not already printing money. But let's go back to what I wanted to talk about. There was a big to do, and then they just got away from it. The first trailer was, I thought, booked to be, and Mario, you would know because you've cut trailers, who is going to be the next Black Panther. It was just a small hint. And then somewhere along the lines, they're like, nah, never mind. We're going to show you this one. It's a girl. And so right there, it just cut all your options in half. Because obviously everybody was fantasy booking. Is it going to be M'Baku? Is it going to be Killmonger? Is it going to be a T'Challa variant? You know, because you knew they weren't going to. Why did they make that change? Do you think they did that because the actress who played Shuri was getting real life heat and it was a little bit distracting?
That's possible. I can see that, but I think folks have forgotten about that by now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's kind of like the news cycle's too fast. It could be that maybe the surprise got spoiled. Obviously, the toys come out first, and that spoils everything, right? You got your Shuri figures already coming out, and she's got the Black Panther suit. But most likely was that Disney probably focus tested it and decided by experimenting on a bunch of humans and showing them alternate things that it was the best and most profitable way to approach it to let everybody know that she's the new Black Panther, or that'll at least clue folks in so they're not coming in and being disappointed or surprised, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just want to give set expectations.
Yeah, and you're right. They probably did a couple of tests, and they all came back on there. Because I got to tell you, man, I'm a huge mark for Lupita Nyong'o. Like she's like, when she's on screen, I just can't take my eyes off her. I'm like, man, when she's like her dance scenes in the first one,
yeah,
and this second one, just like everything about her,
and that part where she's speaking Spanish.
Oh my gosh! And in the glasses, yeah, she's like so. I can't keep my eyes off her. So when they were doing that scene and they simulated the herb, and then next thing you know, she was all of a sudden just sitting on the back of the stairs. And then I was like, oh, I know it's a girl. Oh, they're swerving us. It's going to be her. I marked out. I was like, yes. Yeah. And then I was like, no, it's not. You know, but don't get me wrong, she's still, and I don't have any heat with Shuri. I think she's a great character. Go back and watch the episode of Black Mirror with her in it. She's a phenomenal actress. So
Which one is she in?
She's in the finale of season 2, which is going to the Roadside Museum.
Oh, she's the girl in the
she's the girl in the Roadside Museum that has all the back episodes of Black Mirror. But not that I have any heat with her, but I just I'm such a huge mark for Lupita. I was just pulling it for her to be her, because obviously the other ones, you know, everybody wanted Killmonger and as a possibility, and he showed up on screen, so that became a possibility really fast. But Wayne, what did you think? Were you okay with how that was presented, and then who it was? Because there is comic book precedent for it as well.
Yeah, it didn't shake me. I didn't. It made sense what they did to me. Yeah. I didn't mind, you know, swerve or anything like that.
Yeah, and here's my take. I think that's temporary. I think she's going to pass the mantle, and there's a couple different ways they can do it. They can still go into. I think they did a masterful job of sticking to their guns and saying we are not going to recast T'Challa, and I think this movie honored that, and it closed the book on it. So he was not recast. We got to see him. We seen him, a little bit of him pass. We saw him raised up. Should we have thrown up the spoilers? The spoilers thing.
The movie's been out for 2 weeks. If you haven't seen it, then you're waiting for Disney Plus, and we're not waiting that long.
we wait. But anyway, so we saw him. We got the funeral. We saw the casket. We saw the casket get presented away, and then we got the setup in the beginning and the setup in the end. I think it's done, and it will always honor him. And there's a section of these two Black Panthers these two films that you can never take away. Now, for me, all bets are off for 3. So there's 2 things you can have. I think it was very specific on and mid-credit scene when they said, "My name is Prince T'Challa," and then I'm like, okay, there you go. So they can now you're talking. You can age him up. You can do some like you can go to space, right? Interstellar. You can age him up, or you can go to another universe where he's already older or something. And now you've established that this is basically a version of the T'Challa we know, so you're not recasting him. Am I way off the base, you guys think?
No. You know, it was kind of obvious. It's like, well, he's going to be there sooner or later. So.
Yeah, I think
just age accelerant. It worked in Attack of the Clones. So
Yeah,
I mean, it was basically their sly way of recasting him.
Right, and still honoring.
They
him.
had to they didn't recast him because they wanted to respect, out of respect for Chadwick Boseman. But then they still did. That was the way they got around it, And you're right. Marvel's got dimensions, universes, time jumps. They'll figure out a way. They'll make it happen. But
I think it was really telling at the end, and that to me is just like, okay, they realized they honored the legend, they honored the human, they honored the comics, and everything they did makes sense. And I think now they can say, okay, we did that, let's move on. And that's why Shuri, to me, was just like, she was just going to be the Black Panther for this one. I think she's going to make the herb. It's going to go somebody else, because remember at the end, I thought that was a big deal. They went to, the trial by combat, and M'Baku walked out. And so like he's taking over, because there's not anybody other than Killmonger and the Black Panthers that were going to beat him. So he's going to be the new leader.
Yeah.
So I think they're already establishing that she's kind of going off to do her own thing.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do something where she's going to say something like, the Protector needs to be there at all times, and I'm going to be in Haiti with this beautiful woman. I would go with her too. I would go too. I was like, here, you guys, somebody else take the flower. Nokia needs help.
Yeah.
But man, to me, there was no way, and it's already at $500 million worldwide. I think that's such a special movie, and now knowing what happened in real life, I don't think that this one was a losing battle, as in the sense of like, if you're expecting it to get even near what the original was, I don't think it's going to get there.
I think it'll get near.
It's going to get near for sure.
I think this one just kind of suffers from a few things, but probably we're in streaming war time. Everybody knows it's going to be on Disney Plus in a month or two.
Yeah.
So that hurts repeat viewing or viewing at all. But I think it's still got some legs. We got Thanksgiving coming up. It's probably going to get a lot of views on Thanksgiving. But I think this one suffers from the fact that I don't know that you want to go see this one again. I don't know if you want to for everybody to revisit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't have...
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So I think...
there's not a lot of rewatchability to it.
I agree. And it feels... Here's the thing. Like, I think the movie is... It's good. It's really good. But that's partially driven by the fact that Ryan Coogler is such a great director.
Yeah.
And he made a great film. But it's essentially a movie that lost its lead. And I told you, Jeff, it felt to me like like in the 80s or 90s, you'd see a sequel to a movie where the lead wasn't there, and like they'd elevate the side characters.
Yeah.
And, it kind of felt like that. It just felt like that to me. And it was still good. But I think overall, too, the movie was a little bloated. If they'd have got it down to maybe 210, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shorter, I think it would have given it... There's just some parts that I think drag, and we could have just cut some stuff out. But again, maybe it's the Marvel mandates. Got to include Riri Williams, introduce her. We got to include, what's the dude's name from The Office? Ross.
Oh, yeah.
And Elaine.
Ross.
The guy from The Office and the girl from Seinfeld have their whole storyline where it's like they used to be married. It's like a sitcom, basically.
It did turn into a sitcom.
And then, so that's setting up, what is it? Secret Invasion. Or Armor Wars. One of those.
No, and I keep wanting to say the Untouchables. The Thunderbolts. They're setting up the Thunderbolts.
One of those, it's setting up something.
So it's definitely... They're getting back to where everything is connecting to the next one for sure. It's a little less standalone, but I guess you can still watch it and not be taken away from it. Wayne, you remember? I don't remember much about Secret Invasion, but it seems like that's where they're going towards next. Was that with Ross, or that's more into Secret Wars?
I do not know.
Yeah,
the Secret Invasion. I wasn't around for that one. Now Secret Wars is different. I don't know how they're going to successfully do Secret Wars, but
and that's part of that's part of the 2-part next Avengers, right? It's going to be the Kang Dynasty and then the Secret Wars.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's gonna be their attempt to match up Infinity War and Endgame, which it's finally getting. So everyone thinks Phase 4 for different reasons, whatever, it limped along, and this was the end. And if you notice, the next one, which kicks off Phase 5, is Ant-Man.
It's the pandemic phase. Phase 4 is the pandemic.
It is
phase.
the pandemic phase, so they definitely should get a mulligan. But front and center in the Ant-Man trailer is Kang, like the real, not He Who Remains, Kang, the actual Kang, and they set that up. That trailer is great. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Everything about it is everybody's front and center. This is the movie where things are going to start to turn to get us to that direction.
We hope.
But I don't know. Yeah, we definitely hope for sure. But Wayne, do you think, like, what comes from Black Panther now? Like, what's next?
I don't Doom Wars.
Oh yeah, you said
Doom. Have they announced anything about Fantastic Four? I mean,
they just announced the dates and when it is dropping. But you know what they did announce that's coming out really soon is Okoye is getting her own series. Danny Guerrera from Michonne, she's getting her own series, and which is going to be interesting because she had what do they call those, the suits that she hated in the movie?
Yeah.
She's getting her own series too.
Kind of agree with her. Don't like the suit.
It's kind of like if somebody
Why did she need a suit?
Spring pastels to paint Predator.
Yeah, it's not good. It doesn't look good on screen, and it's like, why do you want to hide your act? Like you've got. She doesn't need to fly.
No.
Why do you have to make her like if she? I don't know. I don't like the suit. I agree.
No, she doesn't need it. I don't want to cover her up. She's incredible to look at scenes. I marked out a little bit, and we'll get into that a little bit. Seeing her live again on Walking Dead, you forgot. It's just like she's so versatile on screen, and you can't take your eyes off her as well. So I think setting up for her to get her series and the Ironheart series, I think that's it. And I think everybody else is going to be parked till a little bit later. Because if you think about it, the whole pandemic phase, we got Shang-Chi, we got the Eternals, and we had hints of Blade at the end of the Eternals, but nothing's come from either of those films yet. The closest we had to anything that connected to Shang-Chi was Abomination and She-Hulk, and that was only connected via Wong, because Wong is God. So there might be nothing that's going to come from this movie for a while. You think it'll just let it simmer?
Overall, what did y'all think of Phase 4?
I think it showed some vulnerabilities for the first time in a long time. But the question is, was it because of circumstances or was it because of creative? But it definitely wasn't my favorite phase. But I mean, it had its moments. Like technically,
it didn't really bother me as much as I've read other people spitting venom at it, because to me it felt disjointed and unorganized. But it felt like the fallout of Endgame. Yeah. And it felt like, everything was shattered, main characters, were eliminated, everything's in transition, everything's out of focus. And I didn't mind the kind of jumping around and the kind of disjointedness as much as some people. But I think they've got to come back into focus in Phase 5. I mean, you've to me, like, if that was the intent, then you've shown your chaos. Now you've got to bring everything back. I don't think you can carry that excuse into Phase 5.
No.
Yeah.
And listen to this rundown. So, like, if even that we're questioning how if we like this or not, and not like just already gushing over it, you're going to be floored if you like thinking about. Go talk to 2019 version of yourself. I'm going to tell you these titles and tell me that you wouldn't mark out. So for the films in Phase 4, you had Black Widow, first film, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Just that film slate alone, if you would have said that these are the films that are coming out, how can you believe that we're even having the conversation that it was okay?
I don't know. When you read it aloud, it sounds kind of weak to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you got the main.
Do you have the films in Phase 3?
Let me do the TV series part of Phase 4 too, because I think that I think that's affecting the films too, because this is the first phase that had the TV series that were so we got a lot more content. So we had WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, I Am Groot, She-Hulk, Werewolf by Night, and the yet to come, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which is going to be the appendix for our Phase 4. Like, you don't feel like knowing now what we know, of course we're not going to feel, but back then, how do you not put that on paper and like, okay, this is an all-star lineup. This is an unbeatable fantasy football team.
I mean, I would say the TV shows definitely sound stronger than the films, but I think that we found that, at least for me, my opinion of the Phase 4 was that TV kind of muddied the waters, and in a way kind of devalued the movies, especially when you're coming in to Phase 4 with some, I don't want to say B characters, but they're smaller characters. Shang-Chi is a smaller character.
Yeah.
Right? Eternals is a smaller title. I just think that these are lesser known, and you're coming in with these lesser known titles to the films, and then also you're muddying the waters with all these other shows. So you've got basically because like, who was it? Vision and Captain America and all your top tier guys now have gone to TV.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird thing. I feel like Marvin Schwartz from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood would not like this. Oh, it's an old studio trick. I mean, come on, man, right? Doesn't it seem like that?
You get beat up. Boom,
those were like two factors that were working against it.
And when you remember, remind me, we got to do a spot about booking him as a wrestler, because it's the same idea. But no, you're absolutely. I think you're right. Because Mario, I pulled up the films. It's half of the slate I just read. So Phase 3 was Captain America: Civil War, probably argue one of the best Marvel films of all time. The intro to Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, coming off how much people were psyched for Guardians. Spider-Man Homecoming, getting their main character back in the fold. Thor Ragnarok, when you have Taika Waititi, and this one was riding the ship. The Black Panther, like we just talked about. Infinity War. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp. Captain Marvel. Then we had Endgame. And then you had... Oh, so Spider-Man Far From Home was part of 3? Phase 3?
This is the last one in Phase 3.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't that sound a little bit stronger than a show about Vision in a sitcom?
Yeah, so now it makes me just wonder if it was like pound for pound, if it was those film slates versus those film slates. I feel like Phase 4 definitely underperformed, because I can't believe I wanted more from Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. Like, I didn't get enough. Like, there was some in there, but it could have been more. And same thing with Love and Thunder didn't get over as big as Ragnarok did. And Chris Hemsworth there was a quote recently saying that, I think, Mario, you told me, right? He'll never work with a mad genius ever again.
I did see that one, yeah.
Do you think he was referring to that? So It underwhelmed a little bit, and it surprised me reading through all these titles that it did. And I don't know if it's just saturation or we're still hung over from the magic of Endgame. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's not as good, right? Thor: Love and Thunder is not as good as Thor: Ragnarok.
No.
We can say this, so we don't have to.
Yeah.
We don't have to be
they're not
neutral
paying
on
us.
that, do we?
No, they're not paying us.
It's not as good, right?
No.
So, I mean, that's probably why it didn't do as well. It's just,
But shouldn't have been. I mean, you got freaking Jane Foster turning like shouldn't have been.
Well, I think James Hemsworth calls it out perfectly. If he says he doesn't want to work with a mad genius, in between Thor 1 and 2, Taika Waititi won an Oscar. So we went from part 1 to part 2 to being an Oscar-winning screenwriter.
Yeah.
So it's just like, how many Oscars do you have? Chris Hemsworth. Oh, do you have an Oscar, Natalie Portman? She does, though. I think
She does. Oh,
does she have an Oscar? Oh, she's a Black Swan. She won.
Black Swan, yeah. But that to me is just like, he was out of his mind at that point when he's like asking Natalie Portman, do you see Anthony, thanks for tuning in, man. Asking Natalie Portman, hey, I'm making a Star Wars film. Wouldn't it be cool to be in a Star Wars film? Would you like to be in a Star Wars film? You're talking to freaking Queen Amidala. Like, what? Like, how did that even become a conversation? So right there, I would say, yeah, he's definitely mad.
So it's a thing, it just wasn't as good, and I think a lot of that is due to factors. And again, I think can't even say pandemic, but whatever.
Pandy.
The thing that happened threw a lot of movies into disarray, but they had to keep chug-a-lugging along, and you've got to keep making movies how you're making movies. And like I said, I pointed out to you, even Black Panther feels like this. All like the Phase 4 movies have a lot of standing around in rooms talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had to pad that stuff. They couldn't shoot like somebody would normally shoot a movie outside or with big sets and a lot of people. They had to keep it trim. And I think that's another reason that we subconsciously we just noticed the films are just a little blander.
Yeah.
So let me read these. So now we can timestamp this, mark it in time, and visit. So when Phase 5 ends, we can review and see if you get excited, because of what I was trying to do with 4. Do these titles excite you? So you had Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I think that one's unfair to say because the trailer was incredible. So yeah, you're excited. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Marvels, Captain America: New World Order, Thunderbolts, and Blade. And then for the TV series, you have Secret Invasion, Echo, a part of the, I guess that's going to be the intro, getting Daredevil in there. She was in Hawkeye. Loki, Season 2, Ironheart, Agatha, Coven of Chaos, and Daredevil, Born Again. So that's the Phase 5 slate. Does that get you psyched more than, does that feel stronger or weaker than what 4 sounded like on paper?
What's the final movie there?
Blade.
Sounds weaker, don't you think?
I think it sounds weaker.
Like,
well, because you got
Phase 4 had 3 big finishers. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, because they're putting a lot on Captain America: New World Order, and they're doing some new intros in there. They're gonna have to intro some characters. That's gonna. I feel like on paper, I mean, the Daredevil Born Again series, that's gonna break Disney. I think that's gonna get a lot of people. I think a lot of people are excited about Agatha. Obviously, they're going to be way excited about Loki Season 2 because that's setting stuff up. I think everybody's probably unsure what they're going to get from Secret Invasion. So you don't know what you're going to get. I don't think people are going to be as psyched for the Marvels, even though it looks good. But I think she still has a little bit of, that movie might have a little bit of residual heat because they're making it clear that they're not calling this Captain Marvel 2. It's just called The Marvels, which has comic book precedent, but to me, I thought that was an interesting marketing choice. And then the Thunderbolts is going to be their Suicide Squad, so that's going to be another wait and see. So basically, you have Ant-Man being the biggest name in there, and the Guardians, and everyone knows that's probably going to be the last Guardians. So I don't know. What do you think, Wayne?
It sounds weaker to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty meh on it. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I'm sorry,
there was
Marvel.
nothing.
You don't automatically get my money anymore. I'm not saying like no. Here's the thing. It's like it sounds weaker, but it doesn't have to be. If they do, if they have good, if they have good everything, good storylines, and they don't like seriously learn from Black Panther. They got to get this out of there. They can't put these bloated, unnecessary storylines in there. Let your characters get over on TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Write good episodes. There's no reason you have to do that. Let the movies be pure, let the shows be pure. And it doesn't have to be weak. Like they could write good stuff. I mean, in Phase 1, I never thought Thor would be a good movie.
The first Thor really barely was.
It's like you're not gonna top Vincent D'Onofrio in Adventures in Babysitting. You're not gonna top that Thor.
Now go.
Yeah. So it's like, but it worked.
Yeah.
I
think it was just a great character, but these were major characters. Like
I didn't think Captain America was going to work. I was like, how are you going to do Captain America? Everybody hates America right now, by the way. So it's like, who's going to go see that?
Yeah, that was actually part of their marketing strategy, right? When they called everybody was worried about the name, and then they went with clear, like reminding people, like, remember, this is the first Avenger. But again, these are major. I don't know, Wayne. You correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, Iron Man was more of a B character than Captain America and Thor. He wasn't any big three in the comic books.
No, not in sales. Not when they were, first coming out. I mean, Iron Man really got a big boost being in the Avengers.
Yeah.
So, but no, Iron Man was considered a B character, like top of the B characters.
Right.
For, a long, most of the 80s, 70s, and 80s. So,
am I wrong to think that he was like, even, I thought it was a glaring not having Ant-Man in like the original part of the Avengers. Like I felt like he was on that par, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I was just, So yeah, I don't know. I guess
What's
I'm not.
The question?
I don't know. We were just talking about, does Phase 5 look weaker than Phase 4? And
I think it definitely does.
Say yes, and
I think it definitely does.
And you made a good point.
I tell you what, the same thing Mario said jumped out when you finished on Blade. I was like, that's the main event. That's the final.
Yeah, a Blade.
That's not a strong.
It's gonna be tough. I mean, well, it won't be tough. Marvel Disney's doing fine, but they've got an uphill battle, and they're coming off of a weak finish. So, and Black Panther was great, but it's still somehow it was a little underwhelming in the end.
I think you're really on.
What's that?
I think you're on something there, Mario. It was bloated.
Yeah,
it could a little bit leaner. Trim it up a little bit, and it would have had more effect.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you talked about like Marvel no longer automatically gets my money, and then I'm reading the 4 films that they announced for Phase 6 is Deadpool 3 with Wolverine, Fantastic Four, Avengers Kang Dynasty, and Avengers Secret Wars, and I'm like, well, damn it, they're going to automatically get my money.
That's phase 6.
That's 6.
Yeah, that's like 2 phases away. Come on.
It is. It's 2 phases away. So I mean, if this is, this is definitely going to be a cool down before they get to the main event.
Yeah.
But the problem is 4 needed to be a little bit stronger, so can they afford to take a little bit of a cool down? But not that I think introducing Kang is going to be big, and I don't know if this means that they fast forward bringing the X-Men in, because it doesn't look like it's in any kind of slate other than Wolverine, but we already had Professor X.
No, by all apparent things that I've been hearing, and by hearing I don't have any inside information, but just on the internet, they're sticking with the old Fox characters for a while.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they're just going to use the old Fox characters because we're getting into Secret World Wars, and that's going to be all about bringing people back. So it's going to be stick with the Fox people, and maybe after Secret Wars they'll do something with them. But for now, it's all Fox characters.
Well, they threw enough money down to get Hugh Jackman back, and I don't think anyone's going to complain about that.
Yeah.
And they already started doing the intro of the mutants, because I think there was a big push we are getting X-Men, the animated series, the 1997 continuation.
Yeah.
In Miss Marvel, you had the music play. You had Namor also introduce himself as a mutant. So they're making it regular chatter now.
It is like 50% of the whatever Marvel is going forward. Mutants is 50% of it. They've got to really set it up well. They can't just drop Wolverine in another movie and have he has a side story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've really got to start the mutant universe from scratch and build it like they did the Avengers verse. So they're going to take their time. And why not use the Fox characters? Do stuff with them, blow them up, put them in, turn them into exploding spaghetti. You know, you have room to do that. So go ahead, just do it. I mean, they're not in a rush. They want to make money forever. They don't care that we're getting old and we're not going to see them. We're not going to see them. They're like, no, it doesn't matter. Just like, well, let's use the Fox characters up.
Yeah, because the rumor is that there's, because you had the Infinity Saga. This one is the Multiverse Saga. The rumor is that it's going to have its own saga. It's going to be called the Mutant Saga. But I don't know if there's going to be one after the Multiverse Saga that it's going to be the Mutant Saga, if that's going to start.
We won't be here to see it. We'll be long dead.
They're not automatically getting our money, whether we're not here or not. So Wayne, I'll give the final words. I know we kind of went down on a tangent on the phases. So what do you kind of see coming from next from Marvel, and lean into your comic book history or what you'd want to see?
I'm content to see where they're going. I haven't really sat here and thought forward. Thanks for putting me on the spot there, bro.
Well, this is more fantasy booking. This is not like what we're gonna do. So okay, let me prime your pipes.
I'm way out. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, what is your least favorite Marvel film and or TV series?
I don't know. The last couple Marvel TV shows that I don't think they were marketing towards me. I can see where they would be popular, but not in my age group.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and I don't know. I wasn't real big on that. Some of the TV shows were great. I love, but some they're slacking off a little bit to me. But I think they're just marketing towards a different age group, and I think there's a little bit of fatigue for me anyway, I've been watching everything religiously, and I've taken a couple series off, and it didn't bother me, and I didn't feel the need to I got to watch it just in case they introduce a character or something. It's like I'll read about it later. Jeff will tell me about it.
I think I skipped a lot of the Phase 4 shows. I didn't see Moon Knight. I didn't see the Miss Marvel. I still haven't seen Werewolf by Night.
Oh my god! You gotta watch that immediately.
It's tough because it's not appointment TV, so I'm like, I'll watch it later, and then
it's just a short film.
I thought She-Hulk was a big mess. If I'd have booked She-Hulk, or hopefully they're watching now, what I would do for season 2, if they're going to do season 2, is lean more into her being a lawyer. It's like, make it about the cases.
It was supposed to be that, yeah.
Like, that's where they screwed up. And there was there's one episode towards the end where they're sort of like making fun, because it's like the female lawyer of the year award or something.
Oh, the gala.
Something like that. And like they all
gala.
get they all get female lawyer of the year. So it's like, they're just, basically they're taking the piss out of that. But it's like, your show takes the piss out of that because you don't let her be a lawyer on the show.
Yeah.
Just let her do cases. Let the Hulk thing happen. She does cases now. As Hulk comes in when it comes in, they just, I don't know.
That worked, and that should have worked, and that's, I thought they were going, and they did a couple of the episodes that they did that worked with Abomination when they brought in, Matt Murdock as a lawyer going against her. Those were the strongest episodes.
Well, it just felt notey, like make it more like Fleabag too, and so they tried to make it like Fleabag, and it's just like, That's why it was just kind of a jumbled mess of stuff.
Yeah,
you know.
And she's a great She-Hulk, so I think she's gonna be fine. I think it's gonna be. I think they're all gonna bounce back, and people will pop when they see them on the screen. But you guys are 100% right. There's I would say. I tell you the ones I think you should go back and watch, and the things that you don't go back and watch. And I can tell you the 3 series that you just watched, other than you can catch up what you need from them in YouTube and not watch the series, and you can get away with that for all their series. For me, because that was I don't want to call it my least favorite. I guess I want to call it the most disappointed Marvel project I've ever viewed was Moon Knight, and I think I was way overhyped for it, and I'm like, nice, this is going to be Marvel's Egyptian Batman, and it had nothing to do with his performance or anything, but it just didn't work. And what sucks is, Wayne, like you were saying, that these other shows, they were not booked for us, but that one was booked for us, and it didn't work, and it was a bummer. And I tell Jack all the time, like, because he's the same way. Once you can't keep up, like once you stop watching, you can't go back. It's hard to go back. And he's like, which ones do I go back and watch? And I tell him, definitely don't go back and watch that one. You don't need it. Like you don't need it. And it should have tied into Black Panther. It could have just got a lot deeper. But man, it was like an origin story to an origin story. And origin stories already struggle. You don't need an origin story to your origin story. But definitely go back and watch Werewolf by Night. Take the 50 minutes, do it.
Yeah,
it's delightful. Wayne, you watched it?
I did.
Yeah, it was great.
Loved it. Oh my god,
that's a show I will watch every Halloween, like you watch A Christmas Story every Christmas.
Yeah,
and I think so. It's not it is an appointment once a year, or a scary night. Like that would be cool to project out on a screen. But cool. You guys want to take a quick BRB break? You guys good?
Yes.
Well, I got to take a quick BRB. I got to take a quick BRB then.
All right, got it.
All right, be right back.
It's that time of year again when the gobblers are silenced so the store freezers can be stocked. And stocked. And stocked. It's all in anticipation of America's oldest national holiday, Thanksgiving, a word that to most folks conjures up one thing: food, and plenty of it.
I go for it. We usually watch what we eat, normally, but for Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, I think you should just go out and have a good time.
I usually binge for that day, starve myself the next.
Now, the food is tasty, but realistically, nutritionists say you can't do much worse than the traditional Thanksgiving feast. Now, most of us love that turkey basted in butter and that stuffing covered with that cholesterol-loaded gravy and those sugar-coated sweet potatoes, and most of all, that double serving of whipped cream atop our pumpkin pie. Unfortunately, dietitians say that kind of a meal epitomizes American eating at its worst.
If they eat like that occasionally, it's all right, but most of us Americans eat like that every day. The fat can increase the cholesterol and thus increase the risk of heart disease if the person has the risk factors.
While research does point to a link between a high-fat diet and heart disease, there are a few ways to modify the unhealthy aspects of a turkey and trimmings dinner. Cox suggests people use raw yams and cranberries instead of the sugar-sweetened ones that come in cans. Substitute low-fat margarine for butter. Avoid the butter-basted turkeys, and most of all, cook gravy from those high-cholesterol meat drippings early so you can cool it and skim off the fat before serving. Cox says those tips can apply every day for good eating. That will really give you something to be thankful for. Good health. Linda Eggert, News Center 13, Eau Claire.
the Quentin Tarantino voices in 80s cartoons. All right, we are back. Sorry, we were talking turkey, and I had a, perch. So, during the break, we brought up. So I caught Wayne reminded me of a rumor that I stumbled across from a website, and I don't know how it's Giant Freaking Robot. So I take everything with a grain of salt, but this did get some traction. So Indiana Jones 5, which is coming at Schultz. The rumor is they shot multiple endings, and they're all awful.
Who says they're awful?
Just after exciting news of an Indiana Jones series broke, because they were talking about another young Indiana Jones Chronicle type show on Disney Plus, rumors are swirling that an upcoming franchise film test screening has been met with awful audience reactions, and Disney is in a panic. Featured within these rumors is an interesting tidbit. Apparently, Indiana Jones 5 filmed 6 different endings for the film, and audiences haven't liked any of them. Certainly, this is bad news for a franchise whose last film, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, was met with mixed reviews and even spawned a mocking Nuke the Fridge meme online.
Yeah.
So I was already a little bit worried about this because I enjoyed Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but man, they went way out there for Indy. Yeah. And Indy already had like some mystical aspects of it, but I almost felt like Wayne was the Family Guy when Stewie was like, when he finally finds that's Ted, same voice, different character. That's the line. Okay, now I know. That's the line. We found the line. And I feel like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull found the line for most audiences.
Yeah. I thought it was hot garbage.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like a single thing about it. And I wish that movie did not exist. I wish they would Deadpool this and they would shoot that Indiana Jones in the face.
I haven't even gone back. I went and saw it in theaters, and I don't even know if I ever went back and watched it. And that's the type of movie that I'll catch 2 screenings on just to get one out of your system, and then you go again. What did you think of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Wayne? Do you remember much about it?
I'm with Mario. It's a shame that they did it.
Wait, that was the one where Shia LaBeouf was in the leather jacket swinging from vine to vine?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the one. The first shot in the movie is the gopher from Caddyshack. Like, what is going on in this movie?
Oh, that's right. And this was pre-Disney acquisition, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
So do you think that Disney's going to make something different of it? Because, Harrison Ford booked in it, right? And he's going to be booked, and he's doing Indy again, which, okay, fine. But for somebody...
Has he made any demands they have to kill off the characters?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He hates most of the characters he played. So do you think that's why he's coming back? It's like, only if you kill me again.
Well, he was not up for recasting Indiana Jones. He said in interviews, no, I'm Indiana Jones. Don't you get it? Harrison Ford does this thing where he's real serious and you can't tell if he's joking, right?
Yeah.
But I've been hearing for this, because this movie's got, I just mentioned Fleabag. It's got, I forgot her name, the actress from Fleabag. She's going to be his sidekick or something. I guess she's the new Short Round.
Oh, I thought they were bringing Short Round back.
I don't know about that.
I thought they announced it on Disney Plus Day.
I don't think they announced anything. I think he just showed up. I think they just had him at the thing. I don't think they announced that there was actually doing anything with that.
Oh, okay. Maybe they just, because he was there, because he's going to be part of another film.
It was just a reunion, I think.
Oh, got it. Okay. Was the Fleabag girl, because according to World of Real...
What is her name? We got to stop
one of
calling
the
her
endings was said to be the least popular one, had co-star Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Replacing Harrison Ford at the end of the film, and that was the least popular one. Presumably, this would set up a franchise for further sequels, with Ford not returning. Yet another unpopular conclusion had Ford, Indiana Jones dying, bringing a final end to the much-loved character. So they hated both of those.
The rumor is that this one is going to involve time travel, and that we were going to see a deep fake young Indiana Jones.
Time travel?
I mean, they did it with Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they do it with Indiana Jones?
They could. Yeah, we were hoping we were going to get a deep fake Harrison Ford and Boba Fett, right? And we never got that. We were hoping we were going to get that young version. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get that, so.
The other rumor is, they want to do. They basically, whatever that ending was you mentioned, they want Phoebe Waller-Bridgers to become the next Indiana Jones.
Oh.
So she'll be the one for a show or another movie or something. So they're trying to come up with a way for him to hand it over to her. But I don't think it's working.
It didn't seem like the audience were in it.
Nobody wants to see Indiana Jones not be Indiana Jones anymore.
Yeah.
Plus, Harrison Ford is right. Indiana Jones is Indiana Jones, and it doesn't go any further than that.
Yeah.
You can't do Chris Pratt. You can't do Bradley Cooper. It's just not going to work.
What I really thought was going to work is when they had Harrison Ford playing Indiana Jones, and then Shia LaBeouf was going to be, and I thought they were going to have that dynamic that he had with Sean Connery, and he was going to be the elder version of him, and they were going to let the younger one do that. And I thought that's what we were going for, but it didn't work. But you're saying that just don't do that at all, just let it go.
I refuse to believe that Steven Spielberg was even on set when they filmed Indiana Jones 4 Crystal Skull. I don't think he was even there. Maybe they zoomed him in, or he was on the phone listening in. That movie is such hot garbage. There's nothing. There has zero redeemable qualities in my opinion. That movie, they should nuke nuke it in the fridge or whatever it is, whatever meme it invented. Just get it out of here.
I do remember. I am curious about the series because I remember Patrick Flannery in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicle, and I don't remember like being in love with it, but I also don't remember hating it. Like, can they continue the legacy and just have that young try to pass the young Indiana Jones again? Slava doesn't even remember watching.
Can I tell my Indiana Jones watching story? Indiana Jones Kingdom in the Crystal Skull watching story?
Yes.
I was working on a movie, right? And it was a really low budget indie movie where we were traveling from Del Rio to Houston in a caravan, staying in like rented houses, sleeping on the floor to make this super low budget movie with like a dude who was in some upcoming series, whatever. We were all super exhausted. You know what I mean? Been working on it. You work long hours on indie films, blah, blah, blah. We were all super exhausted. We had one dark day that we could go to the movies, and we all wanted to go see Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This is a bunch of like exhausted movie nerds, just super excited. We don't even, we don't know each other that well. We even though we've been sleeping next to each other or whatever. We're just whatever. We're all united in this one thing to go see Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And it's just like, you cut to us walking in all excited. Everybody's buying snacks. It's awesome, whatever. Just to coming out and we're just silent.
Oh, man.
No one's talking. And it's just like, finally, someone just finally chimed in and was like, it's all right. Like, no one even wanted to admit that it was hot garbage. It took a while. It took me a while to get to the point where I could say Indiana Jones is hot garbage.
Yeah. So you went through and watched it again, and that's what really drove it home, right?
No.
I
just thought about it.
Oh.
I just thought about it. I did watch it. I did not go to the movies to watch it again. I have seen it since. It comes out on cable sometimes.
Oh, it does.
Stars will program it for me. And, I'll put it on just for a little bit, but I won't watch it. Something that movie's just everything about that movie's wrong.
It just didn't work.
It looks like they're on sets the whole time. Just the decisions that it made to do swinging from vines. Get out! What's going on, man? What year was that?
Was it supposed to be that they were in the 50s by then?
I think it was 1950 something.
Yeah, the late 50s because he had the leather.
So
coat.
it was like Happy Days.
Yeah, he was in the Happy Days era.
But it just did not work. And whatever they do with the series, it could not be worse than that. But I hope that it's a lot better.
Yeah, they should stick to the series and have him cameo in it. I feel like you'd get more buzz than you would with a film. Like Wayne said, he probably was just trying to kill his character off, and the audience is like, "No, you already did that shit to us once. You're not doing that again. You don't get to die on screen." Well, that's 2 of the endings. I'm really curious what the other ones are, but there were 6 of them, and apparently they hated all of them. So I don't know. And supposedly, James Mangold debunked that came out a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
He debunked the leaked ending, but I don't know if it was just which leak ending that
And look,
he debunked.
James Mangold is a good director. He directed Logan. He directed Ford versus Ferrari. I think he's done a lot of great stuff. He's definitely a talent. So, but I don't know. You're talking about a legacy character who, I don't know. There's just no pleasing everyone with this. It's no win situation.
So yeah, supposedly he said he debunked the reports. In recent months, it was claimed that test screenings of the film ended with Waller-Bridge succeeding Ford as the female version of the character. However, Mangold has debunked these rumors, telling his Twitter followers, "No one will ever replace Indiana Jones, not in any script, not in any cut, never discussed." He also said, as of November 11th, there has been no screenings of the films whatsoever. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's true just because the internet says it, right? That was 2008, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, I have to go back and rewatch that.
I don't think you like it, Jeff. I don't. I was surprised that you came when you said I enjoyed it. It was like, what? I've never heard anyone. I've never heard anyone say that.
Is this a giant green gorilla situation here?
It might be. I don't know. And here's the thing. I told you I always have to see something twice, and I don't remember seeing it twice. So maybe I didn't get enough out of my system. Maybe it happened so fast. I'd have to rewatch with new eyes to see.
Mind you, I'm a big mark for Indiana Jones, more so than any of those 80s trilogies. More than Star Wars, more than Star Trek. Indiana Jones was always my vibe. I used to get the Choose Your Own Adventure Indiana Jones books. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had the Temple of Doom record. They had a little 45 for kids that would. Remember they used to do that where they would make 45s of movies.
Oh yeah,
and it would just give you the story. It would basically spoil the whole movie, but it was a shortened version, right?
Well, it's funny, and Wayne, we'll have to have you back, and we'll have to do a recap of Andor. And this isn't really a spoiler; it's an Easter egg. The 3, oh man, why is my brain's freezing? Processor locking up. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The 3, I don't know what they were, pieces of candy corn that they had to capture actually showed up in Andor.
No kidding.
Yeah. Did you see that?
I missed that.
In the background?
No.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, in Andor, there's an art collector. And one of the pieces of art that he's collecting is all Star Wars members. So you got a Gungan shield, you got Queen Amidala's headdress, you have Starkiller's suit of armor. One of them is the 3, I don't know what you call them, from Indiana Jones and the Temple.
Stones?
Yeah, the 3 stones.
The stones of something. I don't know what
Yeah, those 3 stones.
Condor stones.
Yeah, the Condor stones are on this art collector's shelf in Andor.
That's funny.
Yeah. I have to give a shout out to Ryan Airy on Screen Crush for pointing that out. So Awesome. Well, Wayne, thanks for jumping on, man. Like I said, we'll have to have you back when we do a recap of Andor, which the finale is tomorrow night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I love that series. Oh no.
It is one of the series that a lot of people, after Boba Fett took a break from, and now in hindsight, they probably should have showed this one first. This is the series that they're putting out on Hulu and other apps to try to lure people in because they're enjoying it that much. So we'll have you back on that for one, Wayne. All right, brother.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
See you, man. Later.
All right.
See ya. All right. We had a...
Champion versus
Okay, we're back.
Oh, we back. Yeah, so we had to get them off for spoilers because of our final spot here. We're going to talk about The Menu, the new film that just dropped last week, which is very perfect for the Thanksgiving week to see The Menu.
I thought it was a good lineup.
I've been looking forward to this. Like that trailer has dropped in front of every movie that you've seen in Alamo in the past couple of months, and I've been looking forward to it the entire time. I'm a big mark for, you'll know this movie, Escape 3000, which used to be called Turkey Shoot, which which had that vibe of just like hunting, and I thought it was going to be that. So this is going to be a spoiler review of The Menu. I thought it was going to be Turkey Shoot. Oh, so The Menu.
I don't think I've seen Turkey Shoot.
No?
No.
Dude, it's great. It's basically Death Race 3000 on an island with no cars.
Interesting.
Teams of people hunting the prisoners who have to try to escape from the island.
Yeah, no, I've never seen it. I know it's a big one of those big Australian movies.
Yeah, I loved it. It was so good. So when I saw that one scene of like in the trailer, you have a 45-second head start and the one guy ran. I was like, okay, yep, that's how Turkey Shoot was. But The Menu is a 2022 American dark comedy horror film directed by Mark Malloy, written by Seth Reese and Will Tracy, produced by Adam McKay and Will Ferrell. I did not know that.
Yeah, I saw that at
over.
the end. I was surprised by that, yeah.
Yeah. It has an ensemble cast including Ralph Fiennes, Anna Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, Hong Shu, I'm not going to try to read, John Leguizamo. It had its world premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival. So far it's getting positive reviews on that. But it's the premise is this exclusive group of people go to this exclusive restaurant that's secluded on its own island. So the movie starts off, you're going on the boat. These people pay $1,200 a head, and they automatically start putting them in camps, and you felt like this was Clue. They already started to give them their backstory. Is that a fair assessment?
Wait, what? How do you mean they started giving them a backstory?
Like you started saying, okay, this is the asshole couple. Okay, this is the pretentious actor. Okay, these are the douchebag stockbrokers. Okay, this guy's the foodie. Like they started giving them their personalities.
Right, yeah.
But you can tell like right out of the gate, they weren't all likable. So that was like your first hint of things to come.
Yeah, definitely. The only one that was likable was Anna Taylor-Joy as the only one who's not supposed to be there.
Right.
So what did you think of the movie?
I thought it was great. Like, you know, you said this earlier during our break. It was nice to go to a movie that felt like a film and you had no idea what to expect. But it had an interesting enough premise, and it was a simple premise. There's going to be nothing crazy, but the trailer gave enough of a pull. They're like, okay, I'm interested. Like, I watched the trailer the first time when I was in, but every time I saw it, I was like, I just kept getting more excited for this film.
Yeah.
So I found a better synopsis than there. So a couple, which you think is a couple, travel to a coastal island to eat in an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises.
That's a much better, more succinct explanation.
So you start getting stuff that's very suspicious. They start coming off as very cult-like. All the staff, you felt like you were going to Fantasy Island.
And is that what's her name? Rose from not Phantom Menace, from Return of the Last Jedi?
No. Was she? Oh, was that her?
Yeah, that's her, isn't it? I forgot her name. Rose something?
Oh, Rose is her name in The Last Jedi, but I didn't know she was in The Menu.
Yeah, isn't that his assistant?
Elsa?
Yeah, Elsa.
Oh, really?
That's who I thought it was.
I don't know. I'll have to go look into her filmography here. She was in Inherent Vice, Artemis Fowl.
Oh, so that's not her.
Yeah. Oh, and she's in The Whale too. Interesting. She was another one. So Anna Taylor-Joy has that very magnetic. She's just very interesting, and you want to see where she's going. Where that character also had that. You know, I think they both had competing screen gobblings. For sure, that was going to be in there. But so it started off very simple, and you can tell they had the appetizer, and he really was just giving them kind of an appetizer, and he gave a backstory. And then you knew suspicious when he gave the breadless bread plate, because bread is peasant food, and you guys are not peasants. But he said it in a way that it wasn't supposed to be complimentary.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious something weird's going on from the movie.
Yeah.
And we already know from the trailer something's weird's going on. It's like we don't know that going in.
Yeah. It stayed way more grounded than I thought when it finally led to what this was turning out to be.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the whole thing really, what I liked the most about it, again, like you said, it was a bit unpredictable, and it was a unique premise for a movie where it's like a thriller, or it's not a horror movie. It's more of a thriller about these folks, end up in this situation where it's this strange meal where they could die at any time. Right?
Yeah.
And you never really knew where it was going. I didn't know how this one was going to wrap up. I definitely liked the wrap up. Every time I watched this movie, I was thinking to myself, if this movie was like in Japanese and all subtitled, like it just had that feel of a movie that you would watch like that,
Yeah. But you
don't get this kind of premise over in the US. You can't pitch this.
No, that's all shocked. I mean, it got a $30 million budget from, Searchlight.
Yeah.
That I was like, wow, that was big. And it was good because you couldn't predict the ending. Like, you were trying the whole time. It had the same feeling like when you're watching a show like Lost or something, where you're trying to piece together where it's going to go. But then the movie kept swerving, and you didn't know where it's going to go. Where, you know what movie, it kind of 80s movie it reminded me of?
Which one?
Was April Fool's Day. I was waiting for some kind of swerve that he's just like, I wanted you to taste what life tastes like when you look death in the face. And I literally thought he was going to do that metaphor. It's like, now you know how delicious life is when I fed you the threat of death.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, he's going to actually kill them.
Yeah.
He's really going to feed you death, because it was an eat the rich feel. Like, I thought
that's very much it.
Yeah, eat the rich. I thought he was going to make them feed on each other. I thought we were going to have like a cannibal type scene.
Yeah.
But no, he just made them kind of wallow. And some of them didn't feel guilty, but you can tell he was a chef that had a nervous breakdown, and he lost his smile, and he was going to punish these people.
And I very much liked the finish. I liked it so much.
Yeah, I had no heat with it. It was straight up what it was.
The way that she figured out how to turn him, I thought was genius.
Yeah, that was great.
I loved it. And it was just like, he revealed himself to her. He's dead inside. He's lost his love of cooking or whatever. And then, like, full spoilers, when she finds that picture of him where he's like employee of the month at the hamburger stand,
happy, and
he's super happy. Every other photo, he's scowling, hates everything. And she just, yeah, she sends her food back. She says, I don't like this. And it really guts him, doesn't it? Right?
Yeah.
She's like, when she says, I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
And she asks if she can get a cheeseburger. And when he's making that burger, you just see the joy of just cooking in him for the first time in the movie.
Yeah.
Making a simple greasy cheeseburger for Anna Taylor-Joy. And I loved it so much.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. And then she found her out. Can I get this to go? Boom. I thought that was so genius, man.
Yeah.
I loved the ending so much to this movie. I would have never predicted it. I think folks might find, I don't know that it would land for everybody, but for me it totally worked.
No, I think it landed. I think it was right. I think they picked their path and they stuck to it. Like, it was the trailer just felt so mysterious. I automatically assumed a mysterious ending, and that's why I thought it was going to be the swerve. I guess what confused me – 'watching it for the first time was, I was like, it couldn't be something that like he's going to kill these people, because that one couple, the food critics, they've been there multiple times. And I'm like, he wouldn't kill people every single time they came. But what I didn't count on, this was all he can stand and he can't stand no more. And this was going to be his version of the Last Supper. This is going to be your Last Supper.
That's pretty good.
I didn't count on that. And that's why I said it had no weird mystical twists, no anything. It's just like what you see is what you get. He brought you through all the courses and executed. And the only thing that wasn't part of the night was her. And he kept bringing that up. Who are you? Who are you? You're not supposed to be here. And he was slowly trying to profile her, because if what she said was going to determine whether she lived or whether she died.
Because they had background on everybody who was there, and she was not supposed to be there.
Yeah. And they figured all that out. Now, were they all straight up heels? That was the only other thing I need. And again, I need another viewing of this.
I think the only one that possibly wasn't a heel was Judith Light from Who's the Boss.
Yes. Shout out to Judith Light. I was like, I can't believe
she might have been the only one who was innocent, but yeah.
But she still was.
She still got s'mored.
Yeah, she did. You just got s'mored. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was. I thought that was really interesting. That was the only thing I was trying to piece together. I was like, was there people that committed some crimes? But he wasn't going after people that were bad people. He was eating the rich. So and that's why he asked, is like, what school did you go to? Brown. Do you have student loans? No. You have to die.
You dying.
Yeah.
I have one gripe with that movie. And this just jumped as I saw it go down. I just could not get it out of my head. There's that scene where they're having a Taco Tuesday, and they get the chicken, and they all get the personalized tortillas that have their secrets on them.
Yep. They
laser print their secrets on tortillas. And this is the fanciest restaurant in the world, and all I could think was, those are not homemade tortillas. Those are definitely out of a package, and they laser print. They put them in the printer.
They did not. Yeah, you're absolutely right, because they had that thickness that you can tell. Okay, you didn't press that yourself.
No.
Oh man, good. No, it was good. We definitely recommend, go out of your way, see the menu. For anybody who's out there, I was thinking about this listening to. And this could be our go-home spot. I was listening to Cinema Speculation and talking about how bad Quentin Tarantino thinks films are now. I just think it's not that they're bad. It's just the commercial ones that are everywhere are not what everyone likes. But there are good films. You just have to search them out. They're just not mainstream anymore. And would they be as good if they became mainstream? There's those films like this film that if you look, you have to go on the weekends that there's counter programming or what studios consider the dumping ground of just movies. There's good movies that I think that you would really enjoy that aren't based on an IP.
Yeah. I would say this is a fairly mainstream movie, though. It's got pretty big stars in it. It's not a Marvel movie.
No.
It's not a big IP. It's something that they have to sell. They can't just say, "Hey, here's something here's stuff you want to come see it again." It's hard to explain the premise. I mean, can you imagine? I picture like my mom trying to explain this to my aunt when they decide what to see. Oh, it's like they go to this dinner, but they're gonna kill them. But they're like, the dinner is like really not even food. They just about how they're gonna die.
Then it doesn't work. It's not an easy explainable one, but it's worth seeing for sure. I don't know how fast these movies turn around and go to streaming, but I enjoyed seeing it at Alamo, and my only regret is after seeing that cheeseburger scene, I was like, damn it, why didn't I order a cheeseburger?
Yeah, I got stuff to make cheeseburgers on the way home.
And they were just so good, and then the crinkle fries, he really nailed it. So cool. I think that's a show. Like that feels like a gig. We're going to be back next week. We are going to be going tomorrow night. We are going to the Goblin Show here. It's our third Paramount trip this month. So if you're Suspiria fans, Dawn of the Dead type music, we'll be talking about that next week, and we will recap the big day, the big T day, Turkey Day. Is that a big day?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. So enjoy your screening of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and have a good nap. Enjoy your football games. go out and get cinema speculation and find a cool film and screen it in your backyard as you're frying your turkey outside, because you can't fry that inside because you know you burn the flank down.
Might I recommend Terrifier 2 in Turkey? For your family and friends and loved ones. Show them Terrifier 2.
Terrifier.
Never get invited to Thanksgiving again.
And that's the moral of the story. The more you know. Yo, Joe.